Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to North Noxie's channel. I'm the Archivist. Now, if you've been hanging around recently, then you might have been enjoying mine and Noxie's playthrough of Control, an excellent horror, I don't know, paranormal game. So, if you've been enjoying our playthrough... Creepy, that's an excellent descriptor for it, Noxie. So, if you've been enjoying our playthrough, today we've got an extra little treat for you. We're going to be doing a couple of videos on the collectibles and lore of Control that we found. So I'm going to sit down and we're going to have a nice reading today. This video is pretty much just going to be audio format. I'm just going to be sat here reading all the collectibles that we found. So feel free to stick something on the background, play a video game, and just listen to the smooth, dulcet tones of my voice, baby. Let's go. Now, as a side note, while we're loading in, I have to say that I am loving this game so far, absolutely loving it. The design, the aesthetic of the Bureau, the ambience that the game creates, and the way that the story is unfolding are just... You know, like when you get a nice pastry, like a nice fresh donut, and you just take a bite and all that sugar and that, you know, and just... Yeah, baby. Just hook that right into my veins. Except don't, because anything the Bureau wants to hook into my veins is probably some paranormal drug or something that'll mess me up. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, as I say, really liking the game so far. Another quick side comment is that Control, excellent demonstration of a female-centric game that doesn't go out of its way to be political. Because, I mean, when you think about it, pretty much all of the main characters that we've met so far are women. Jessie, the character we're playing as, is a woman. First person she meets inside the... Well, who's alive, if we don't count Director Trench's dead corpse, was Miss Pope, Emily Pope. Marshall, the head of the Rangers, is a woman. And the entity inside Jessie's head, Polaris, is a woman. It's 4 female-centric characters, and the game hasn't made a single political statement at all about the fact that they're women. They are treated just as characters. This is excellent character writing right here. This is, any quote-unquote woke gamers would do well to take a couple notes from this. But, pardon, Noxie, you were saying? Oh, yeah. Quick moment, Rip Philip. If anyone was in our last stream, you might remember Philip the Fridge Guy. We tried very hard to save him, but it didn't work out. So in the end, we avenged him against a paradimensional slug, which was, yeah, very hard. I remember Noxie, you died like, what, 4 or 5 times? We got it in the end, though. Right.
No, we got a cheeky one. Remember, we died, but
oh, yeah.
we still managed
it was very cheeky. We killed it with one final shot in the eye and then fell through a hole in the floor. So, we'll come up here. This is a nice quiet room to do some reading. Oh, would you look at that? There's a radio. We won't turn that on because we'll probably get copyright claimed for the music. This looks nice. This is some nice ambience. Quick update from Noxie to any of our Call of Duty viewers. Recently, we finished our Black Ops 3 playthrough, and pretty much every video on Black Ops that we put up got copyright claimed in some way, so expect Part 4 to possibly be copyright claimed too. Right. So in this first video, I'm going to go through his research, and then we're going to come back at you with a second one for reports and a third one for research, purely so you guys don't have to be sat here for like an hour listening to my voice. Although why you want to sit for an hour listening to my voice, I don't know. Alright, let's begin. Hiss Agent. Summary. The Hiss manifest in human hosts in numerous ways. The most common and least intense form seen is in the many corrupted agents floating throughout the Bureau. The Hiss agents have maintained their human appearance, undergoing no obvious physical transformation. The most notable distinction from an unaffected human is the fact that they levitate. These Hiss have displayed no aggressive behavior. They only seem interested in vocalizing the strange incantation ad infinitum. Perhaps these vessels are only meant to propagate the Hiss corruption, like spores or Wi-Fi boosters. Or are they cocoons preparing to enter their next stage of evolution? When attacked, Hiss agents disappear, perhaps entering a state of invisibility or undergoing a transformation into a purely resonant form. Research is ongoing. Refer to file redacted for full report. Now that is the question. Well, what do I think, Noxie? Now, personally, I think, now this is a little tangential guesswork here, is that, so, you know the astral realm with the Black Pyramid? Now, I personally believe that the Hiss is another entity in the astral realm. Now, see, that begs the question exactly, how many realms are we dealing with? Is it possible that the astral realm is a higher dimension above us, while the Hiss are a dimension below us? Is that what we're looking at? Do the Hiss and the astral realm share an innate connection? There's a lot of holes to figure out. Now, personally, I think that what happens is that the Hiss is a purely energetic creature, in the sense that it's nothing like we'd understand. It doesn't have a body. It doesn't have a need for a body because it's pure emotion. You know? The Hiss is an idea. You feel me? So I think when you kill one of these agents and it disincorporates, it's like it's turning back into gas, you know? Like when the Hiss comes into a physical form, it's like water freezing into ice, and then when you kill the Hiss infected, it like boils off and it dissipates, probably back to wherever it came from. That's just my 2 cents. Right. Hiss barrier. Summary. The Hiss resonance field is a physical impediment that is difficult to define. Hiss barriers appear as ways to impede escape or access by Bureau personnel. 2 methods have been discovered for lowering them. 1. Destroy the multiple concentrated resonance sources found in the vicinity, or 2. Destroy the Hiss entities in the area. The resonance fields seem to require support for their size and density from other non-connected sources of Hiss resonance. Without the ability to draw from these sources, the barrier will fall. Does an inactive structure made of Hiss resonance qualify as a conscious being? Does the distinction make any difference when considering the Hiss? What does the very act of building walls to prevent our movement tell us about the Hiss? To what degree is it watching and planning? Refer to file redacted for full report. A lot of redacted. Hiss charged. Summary. The Hiss-charged agents are example of extreme physical deformation, resulting from Hiss corruption. Hiss-charged display an unthinking fixation on any non-corrupted individuals in the area. Once within a specific proximity, they erupt into a burst of focused Hiss resonance, so dense that it acts as a physical force. The Hiss-charged is depleted of the Hiss corruption after this eruption. The host is left lifeless. This behavior may be an adaptive response to the HRAs. The Hiss-charged are designed to blow the devices off potential hosts, exposing them to the resonance. Is the Hiss capable of customizing a corrupted host's altered ability to this degree? Why is the physiology of the Hiss-charged so dramatically different from the host's original form? Lots of questions, no answers. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss cluster. Summary. Hiss clusters are unique in that they are concentrated manifestations of Hiss resonance without the need for a host. Hiss clusters are dense spherical compressions of Hiss resonance that serve support functions in the hierarchy of Hiss entities. The clusters are capable of replenishing Hiss hosts with infusions of resonance. This does not heal any physical damage inflicted on the organic host, but rather seems to rejuvenate them, allowing them to endure more bodily harm than normally possible. The fact that the Hiss makes an effort to preserve its corrupted hosts underlies a level of awareness and discretion that was previously just speculation on my part. Can this entity be considered an individual, or simply an extension of the Hiss as a whole? Capturing one alive would be quite interesting. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss demolition expert. Summary. The Bureau only allows certain highly trained individuals to handle volatile materials and weaponry. Our demolition experts are instructed in the use of explosives in dimensions with distinct physical laws, making them important assets for engineering work as well as combat situations. Hiss demolition experts are the only observed Hiss variations to wield specially built rocket-propelled grenades, that are designed to identify and track redacted entities once fired, making them a threat whose termination should be prioritized in combat scenarios. I find it remarkable that the Hiss restrict usage of this weapon to the Bureau personnel who trained specially for its use. What does this tell us about its behavior? Can it not pass along new information to corrupted entities? Still too many unknowns. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss distorted. Summary. Hiss distorted agents are able to render themselves invisible and emit a powerful concussive blast when in close range of their target. Curiously, the Hiss distorted is apparently not able to utilize both abilities at once. It must make itself visible when it goes on the offensive. The Hiss distorted is unique in the fact that it wields a paranatural ability previously unknown to the Bureau, perhaps tapping into a yet undiscovered object of power. How does this invisibility work? Does the distorted become resonance temporarily? Does it use Hiss resonance to refract light? The physical deformation of this particular Hiss entity is noteworthy in its thoroughness. Clearly the human host would have died from such extreme alteration, which prompts the question, are the corrupted simply animated corpses? Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss elevated. Summary. Hiss elevated agents display abilities similar to telekinetic competencies observed in Bureau power... Damn, that's a mouthful. Hiss elevated agents display abilities similar to telekinetic competencies observed in Bureau power utilitarians. Some prefer to charge their targets, while others launch objects at them. Telekinetic attacks have been ineffective against the Hiss elevated due to their own talent in the area. They do not use any weaponry except their own paranatural capabilities. Some Hiss elevated have been seen levitating while strapped into chairs. This is likely the result of individuals being corrupted while undergoing cognitive recording in parapsychology. How are they able to use paranatural abilities? Is it possible that these individuals were bound to objects of power prior to corruption? It's also worth considering that the Hiss resonance can identify and express latent paranatural ability in the individuals it corrupts. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss Guard. Summary. The Bureau has many internal security personnel. The Hiss was quick to take advantage of this fact. Hiss Guards use the standard issue bullpup rifles they carried prior to corruption, while the armored guards carry pump-action shotguns. They have no observed paranatural abilities, with the exception that certain Hiss Guards are protected by a shielding of dense Hiss resonance, capable of stopping bullets. Is this shielding a result of prolonged Hiss corruption? Does the Hiss mature in organic hosts over time? More data is needed. Did the Hiss target individuals with combat training? Does the Hiss have at least that level of cognizance? Does it utilize hosts for tasks they are best suited to? Combat-trained hosts reserved solely for combat? These are all questions for later, though it is obvious that corrupted individuals retain knowledge of the use of their weapons. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss Ranger. Summary. The Rangers are the Bureau's well-trained and well-armed expeditionary forces. Their Hiss-corrupted counterparts are equally formidable. Prior to corruption, Rangers were trained in the use of a variety of weapons in order to face any threat found during an ore response or threshold exploration, including submachine guns, assault rifles, and automatic shotguns. Hiss Rangers utilize these weapons as well as the advanced tactics taught by Bureau instructors. Some are additionally outfitted with Bureau-made body armor. Hiss Rangers have no observed paranatural abilities beyond some being protected by a shielding of dense Hiss resonance, capable of stopping bullets. Considering the advanced training the Hiss Rangers are capable of applying to their situation, is it feasible to consider the human mind still remains intact to some degree? Or is the Hiss able to tap into this combat training and utilize it? Further observation is required. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss Sniper. Summary. Bureau snipers specialize in eliminating threats from a distance, using the telltale searchlights affixed to their rifles to search for targets. Hiss snipers are no less lethal. The corruption has not changed their tactics. They clearly prefer to maintain a good distance from their target, waiting in elevated positions for a clear shot. Care should be taken in open spaces. Check the balconies. I should note that their rifles are equipped with a bayonet for close quarters combat, and the Hiss snipers are well aware of how to use it. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss Trooper. Summary. Troopers are meant to be the first agents Troopers are meant to be the first agents to enter unknown ores, thresholds, or any other paranaturally hazardous situation. They are heavily armored and heavily armed in preparation for the worst. As a result of their role, Hiss troopers have access to the heaviest armor and weaponry from the Bureau's armory, including military-grade chain guns and grenade launchers. In addition to their already formidable FBC-issued armor, the Hiss resonance surrounding these entities is dense enough to stop bullets. If forced to engage one of these, be sure to make use of any available cover. Also note that, to the telekinetically talented, enemy grenades can be a welcome source of ammunition. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss Warped. Summary. The Hiss Warped wield only paranatural abilities, similar to drifters. They're able to telekinetically shield themselves with nearby material and launch objects at their target. These entities are particularly destructive and difficult to kill, possibly indicating a greater internal reinforcement of Hiss resonance. Why do certain Hiss display paranatural abilities while others rely on Bureau firearms? Do certain corrupted entities have less potential than the hosts that become Hiss warped? Or is this perhaps an indication of evolution or maturation of the Hiss corruption? Are there stages of evolution yet to be found? What if the Hiss inhabits a host for a month, a year? Do hosts expire after a certain amount of time? Does the corruption become too strong for an organic body to endure? Only time and well-documented observation will tell. Refer to file redacted for full report. Analysis of the Hiss threat. Part 1. Initial impressions. Initial encounters with the entity known as the Hiss have revealed various behavioral facts. Most notably, the Hiss is able to invade or corrupt control points, altered items, and even humans, radically changing their behavior. Curiously, any person wearing one of the wearable HRA devices that Dr. Darling has been distributing over the past weeks was not affected by this corruption. The only exception to this fact is the new director Jessie Faden, who possesses an inherent immunity to the Hiss. This could indicate that she has already been corrupted, but her behavior is so in contrast to that of any other Hiss that I have dismissed this theory. My final observation comes from Miss Faden herself. She is able to cleanse material and organisms of the Hiss corruption. We tested this ability on a Hiss-corrupted entity, but unfortunately the process seems to kill the host. Perhaps the host's physiology becomes reliant on the Hiss. More work to be done. Refer to file redacted for full report. Analysis of the Hiss threat. Part 2. Linguistic ability. Summary. Researchers were sent to transcribe the recursive chant repeated by the Hiss entities. In the interest of safety, this was done with a non-aggressive floating Hiss entity. However, no distinction between this repeating phrase and the one repeated by the more violent Hiss entities had been observed. What is the purpose of this repeating string of words? Is this how the Hiss corrupts individuals? Does the chant produce a physical effect? Is it a message, an incantation? We were able to record a first-hand recitation of the chanting. See the corresponding audio file. Refer to file redacted for full report. Analysis of Hiss threat. Part 3. Speech analysis. Summary. If we understand the Hiss to be a force based on vibration and resonance, then perhaps their incantation, which is now the agreed-upon term for their vocalizations, is an effort to express that resonance using human vocal cords and speech. Would there be differences if the incantation were recited in a different language? The most common word used is want. Interestingly, every usage of the word is attributed to a you. You want to listen. You want this to be true. You must want these waves to drag you away. Are we the you the Hiss is referring to? Does the Hiss believe humanity, possibly all non-Hiss life, wants to join it, to be consumed by it? Is that its goal? The second most used words are through and time. Is this possibly the Hiss stating how they arrived here, or an indication of its age? There is clear intention in the words. Dismissing the incantation as nonsense, as some of my colleagues recommend, is beyond idiotic. Refer to redacted for full report. Analysis of Hiss threat. Part 4. Timeline of events. Summary. To examine the invasion's timeline of events for possible patterns in Hiss behavior. Establishing a timeline is difficult at present due to lack of reliable communications between Bureau sectors and staff. Preliminary models indicate ground zero of the invasion is located within the executive sector. Once it becomes possible to interview surviving personnel, pinpointing the exact location should be feasible. Other outstanding questions that a timeline may help answer are: how did the Hiss get past the internal lockdown? How does Hiss resonance advance through space, deliberately or uniformly? What is their ultimate goal? The outside world? A cross-dimensional destination? Refer to Redacted for full reports. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This concludes part 1 of the Archivist's reading of The Law for Control. Be sure to stay tuned for part 2 and 3, which we'll have coming up soon. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you around next time.